Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Let me set up the lighting a little bit better. There we go. I'm just waiting for some of you to come on. Hi Season. Hi everyone. I have the best rays of light, and I'm just so grateful to all of you that have been checking in on me and sending me DMs and emails, and making sure that I was okay. For those of you that are tuning in, I won't be doing any live readings tonight because I'm conserving my energy, but what I am going to do is chat with you. We're going to talk about my paranormal investigation, and for those of you that haven't seen the video, you may want to see that. But I'll be talking about what happened in the video more in depth. Yesterday when I did my video, putting it together, I kind of rushed through it. And then I went back several times since last night to see, since yesterday, to actually see the footage that I recorded and things that I missed, that I saw, things that I experienced. I wanted to talk about it. Hi, everyone. Love you all. Thank you for being here. I missed y'all. I was supposed to do this yesterday, but I had this paranormal impromptu investigation that I wanted to do. I'm doing things that are kind of stepping me out of my comfort zone. I've never have done a paranormal investigation at all. And so I wanted to find something close to me, just to see, how it is. Because you see a lot of things on TV, but yeah, I took my chances. I went to the Yorktown, Texas. I'm from Victoria, Texas. So I traveled to Yorktown, Texas, which is about 38 miles away from me. And they have the Yorktown Memorial Hospital. Now, this is a very haunted location. Travel Channel had Ghost Adventures team there back in 2012, I believe. I can't remember the year. But Zach Bagans was there with his team, and basically they had a lot of experiences. Since then, there has been a lot of paranormal investigators and ghost teams, ghost hunters, as you could call them, that go there and investigate the location, and see what they capture. The methods that they implore, to go into these locations, a lot of times is more of reaching out, getting EVPs. For those of you that have ever been to a haunted location or part of a paranormal investigation team, you may know exactly what I'm talking about. People, will set up an EVP recorder or have cameras and getting footage. The thing with that is sometimes you're reaching out to entities that may not be of the light. And in that place, I can tell you, for those of you that are tuning in tonight, that there is a big battle of good versus evil, but there is more evil in that hospital. And it's terrifying. Thank you, Ryan, for being here. Troll Patrol. I hope Nicole joins as well. And again, for those of you that are tuning in, I'm talking about my paranormal investigation and how that went. So 3 days prior to going to this location, I was already getting a lot of psychic impressions. And the spirit realm, how it works is that we always ask ourselves, like, how do they know that we're going before we get there? A lot of psychics you see on the TV, like Amy Adams, I believe, from the Dead Files. I love her. Well, a lot of them, you'll see them getting impressions on their way to the location. Sometimes it happens days before. How the spirit realm works is that they don't go by 24 hours, 7 days a week, a clock. Spirit realm doesn't have clock. Does the demonic world. They go through the spiritual realm. It's like the no time of existence, but time is really accelerated on the other side. So they know, spirits know before you're actually going to get there. And I was already having headaches prior to going, a lot of neck pain on the very back of my upper back and neck. I was getting a lot of those prior to going, like 3 days before. So on the day of my investigation, I went around 1 p.m. I'm not afraid to go at night, but I'm not a night person. And I feel like if you're of the light, you should go during the daytime when there is light. I know that sounds kind of crazy. Maybe it doesn't make sense to everybody. But Lee Benavides, I'm going to talk about all of that And I was getting impressions that people had broken into the hospital before. They had done satanic rituals there. They had done a lot of um, rituals that involve sex, unfortunately, there in the hospital. Animal sacrifices, human blood sacrifices, like people cutting their hands, and smearing that against the wall. I saw visions of a lot of things that I didn't talk about yesterday. I didn't talk about it because when you do sometimes talk about it, especially after going to a place like this, when you go to a paranormal or haunted place, your energy is imprinted in that place, regardless if you have good intentions like I did. As you could see, the footage was raw. I never provoked spirit as going in there, good spirits. I never provoked the demons that were there, but I knew that they were there, and I felt them so bad. Like it was really, really bad. But like I said, going into that investigation, I already knew I wasn't wanted days before. My guides were telling me, you really should not do this. You're going to get sick. So I was already prepared. I knew that I was going to get sick. I am a very sensitive. I'm a sensitive, and I'm very sensitive to um, negative entities and demonic entities. And I knew the dangers and risks. For those of you that are tuning in, viewer discretion is advised, because again, the things that I'm going to be talking and about this live may not, be for you, and you may get scared. A lot of people will get scared from this. But I definitely think it's important when people do paranormal investigations to do a post interview or a post, days after. And I'm going to do another one of these a couple of days later to let you know exactly what happened to me. So going into the location itself, I arrived there about 1. Eddie was the caretaker, the guy that opened it up there in Yorktown. He got there about maybe 1:05. The location was open. I went in and I told him I didn't want a tour really. I wanted to just have free reign, which again is pretty stupid of me, and I will admit that. I do not recommend. It's foolish, and I'm not a cocky person that thinks that that I can handle things by myself. I did it really to kind of document things for myself and get psychic impressions, because I feel like if I would have gone with other people, I could have maybe picked up on impressions on them, living people that is, instead of myself, and spirit and whatever else was in there, which I will get into it. But yeah, going forward, I will never do a paranormal investigation at all with by myself. I will never do that. I would go with a team, and I probably wouldn't go to a big facility like that again because of the amount of negative energies and death being it was like being pounded on your body. The way that I can explain it to you is like walls of dead people, like surrounding you in a box and like crushing you in. It was so stifling once the investigation began, and I started going into the administrator's office, which is directly in front of the lobby. And there's a long hall that goes down straight to the chapel, and then you have the left wing, and then you have the right wing. As I went into the other rooms and the very front, the energy is totally different. It's bearable. You can breathe. The door was open to the outside so we could see traffic and things like that. But as you get into deeper in, I had to turn on my flashlight because there's no electricity. It was very hot. I mean, this is South Texas. We're talking about 106 probably heat index. And inside the building, it was pretty hot, But when I started getting towards, I think it was like the nurses' quarters, like they're before you turn right on that first wing. There's like a nurse's station, an old nurse's station. The building is very dilapidated. It's got a lot of rooms that are closed off that people should not go in because like the roof was made out of concrete and it's caved in. It caved down. I showed footage of it, and I know a lot of you have saw it, and I'm sorry if y'all got sick seeing it. I don't want to see it anymore. I just saw it once and maybe a couple of times, fast forwarding through it. When I turned into the right wing and I started going down that right wing in the hospital, I felt so much difficulty breathing, but I was still able to breathe. It was bearable. I had a backpack, but my backpack was filled with holy water, sage spray. I had crucifixes. I had Saint Benedictine medallion on me. I had a black tourmaline and selenite crystal pendant and a moonstone hanging on me. I had basically every protection possible. I was told by my spirit guides to drink holy water going into the investigation, before even arriving. So I had gone to the Sisters Word Incarnate. It is a huge, massive nunnery, nun convent here in Victoria, Texas. And I went and got a bottle of holy water and I ingested a few ounces of it, primarily to protect myself, because being a medium, if you're a medium and you go to these places, demons and that amount of spirit that is in there can actually jump in you and they can attach themselves to you. There was a lot of sense of doom, despair, abuse, mental issues. I felt eyes all over me, like watching me from afar. I felt them behind me. I felt someone breathing behind my neck. But all through the time you see me there, I handle it like a pro. Well, I'm not to brag, but I did not want to show fear, because these entities smell it. They smell, especially demons, they know if you are fearing them, if you have any fear. So I tried to maintain my calm. This is not my first encounter dealing with demons. They don't like me. I don't like them. And I have the power to exorcise demons. I've done it before. I don't talk about it, but I would never do it. I would never go that far by myself and do something like that unprepared, because really and truly, even though I thought I was prepared, I wasn't like fasted. You have to fast for this. You have to really have a lot of physical strength and stamina. And when you're by yourself, you're like basically a buffet to spirit and to demons. And so in the back of my mind, I kept saying, I'm going to make it through this whole investigation for an hour. I was given the option to pay for like 3 hours to get, have a 3-hour tour, but I only wanted an hour, but I knew that it wouldn't last an hour. And so as I went down that room and I show footage of one room where the roof caved in, I felt the demons there already. And it was just very thick. Like you could actually feel like you were like in quicksand, and to move, it became a little difficult. And you can hear my breathing changing as I got further down into the hospital. You could hear my breathing. It was becoming very heavy, and that's not how I breathe normally. And so I continued down. There was blood splattered, and even though I was like, oh, there's blood here, I kind of played it off through the whole thing, because again, these entities are very intelligent, and they smell from afar who is fearful and who they can hurt. And I think that's the only reason that I came out of this investigation in one piece, without scratches, without being pushed down the stairs. But yet I was very affected. So then I went to, I think the first wing on the right side at the very end that I show the footage where, I feel like that was like the emergency room. I'm not familiar with Yorktown. So if you're here online right now and you're from Yorktown, or you've investigated this hospital, please comment, or you look at this video later, comment and let me know what that right at the very end on the right wing on the first floor is. I felt like it was an ER or trauma center. And so there was, when you said sexual activity, did you mean people going in there? Yes, that is very crazy. But yes, that's what they were doing. Part of rituals. Again, satanic things. You'd be surprised there was urine on the walls. There are other substances that it just smelled really bad, really foul. Like when I'm a sensitive that has the ability to smell demons, to smell death. I don't know if y'all have heard of that before. It sounds weird, but when there is like a demonic presence, you will smell like rotten flesh, sulfur, kind of like a rotten egg smell. And so that's how I know when demons are around. Another clue for that was that the rooms that I went into, there was a lot of infestations. When a place is demonically haunted, and this is not the case all the time, because some negative entities that were once human may not have, there may be some infestations with those. But this place had so much infestation of bees. These are things that you saw in the movie The Exorcist. You saw maybe in Amityville. I'm not sure which movies, but there was infestation on the roof, swarming all around. And so, yes, if you're going into a place and you suspect that there's demon activity, there's going to be like a checklist. There's going to be foul smells. You're going to be physically affected. Your breathing's going to be affected. You're going to maybe feel nauseated, lightheaded. You could pass out and faint. Some people will have trouble breathing, like I did, which I'll go into in a little bit later. This place is definitely, I would not recommend anyone with any pre-existing medical conditions to go in to this paranormal investigation. And here's why. Demons and negative entities know your weaknesses. They know what your health ailments are, and that's where they attack you. And being that I've had a heart attack before and I crossed over, I'm even more of a conduit for them and more of an attack. And I think it would have been worse for me if I hadn't, because when I died for a few seconds and came back, or a minute, my one foot, like when people have near-death experiences, one foot is on the other side and one foot is here in the physical realm. Even if when you come back, you always still have that opening to the other side. So I feel like that's the only reason that things did not get really worse than they could have. I think I would have been, I really felt like I saw visions of what they wanted to do to me. And I believe that they wanted to push me down the balcony on the second floor of the chapel, or push me down the stairs. That's what I saw visions of. And when I got on the right wing and I started going back, I stopped in front of a painting. If you look at the video footage, it was a painting that's still hanging there, of two women dressed in white, and you could hear in the background like some growling, and you could also hear like something being moved and something slammed on those other rooms that I had just turned my back on and was coming already back down the hall. But again, I played it cool. You wouldn't see that from me. I kind of laughed it off, because I needed to maintain my composure and not show them any fear, because I felt like if I did that, they could have, it could have been worse for me through that whole experience. People have gone in there trying to make contact with spirits. And so what they have done is they've done rituals, seances, paranormal teams have provoked spirits. In essence, what they have done on top of the people that died in the hospital, which is approximately about 1,500 throughout the time that it was open from 1951 to 1985. They have opened portals. I saw visions of people taking Ouija boards and using them in there to communicate with spirits. And when you do that, you open vortexes or portals, and it becomes a breeding ground for anything, basically anything and everything that you can really imagine that goes bump in the night to come in and out into that place. And so like there's tons of portals in that place. The two places that have the portals mainly are on the chapel, right in the chapel area by the pulpit, and then the left side of when you get in the chapel, the left side where there's some pews, there are some benches, I guess they're called pews there, and then that wall, that's a very there's a portal there, a big portal. And then upstairs, as you get to the nurses' quarters, as you get upstairs in the second floor, there is a lot of portals up there. Portals, not portal, but several. When I got into the chapel, I heard immediately something swinging. There was definitely noise, and my breathing changed completely. I felt so much heaviness right here in the center of my chest, and then my lungs on my back felt like they were being crushed. Like you were feeling like you're like I'm here in the center between my hands, and you have two, things coming and compressing you from both sides. Um, and again, I was protected. So I then said an Our Father prayer, or the Lord's Prayer is known through the Catholicism, through Catholics. I am a Catholic, I was born as a Catholic and raised part of my life as a Catholic, but I don't follow the Catholic religion. I'm spiritual. Love is my religion. But I still believe in the prayers, and I still believe in the power of prayer. And I only said it because I felt that I needed to. I was in danger. But what I didn't realize, I guess, that by doing so, um, I provoked something, or whatever was in there that's demonic didn't really like it. And so it was, even though I called upon God's protection and the white light, now through the whole thing, I was envisioning myself in a white bubble. Um, it was very intense. After I said the Our Father prayer and I started going through where the piano was into what would have been like the minister confection. I don't know what those rooms were, but whatever those rooms were, there was just so much negativity in there as well. And by the time that I left the chapel, I knew that I wasn't wanted there at all. I felt so sick. And going up the stairs to the second floor, halfway through, the actual rails had blood stain on them. So people have done things on those stairs. I did get that several people have had accidents on those stairs. They have been pushed down those stairs. And as I got up into the second floor, to the left-hand side, you will see in the footage, is the actual like balcony of the chapel. And I saw visions that they wanted to push me. So I never stepped into the balcony at all, because I could have probably been pushed over the balcony and I wouldn't be here today. So I definitely did not do that. I decided to turn right once I got up to the staircases, the second floor, and it was so horrible. It was like death, demonic energy. Everything that you see in these shows on TV, like The Psychic Kids, or you see on Dead Files, or you see on Ghost Adventures, or the Paranormal Witness, all these shows that talk about, people talk about their experiences, and we think sometimes that they are over dramatizing or sensationalizing it. That's bullshit. It is real. It really is real. And I wouldn't be sitting here behind the camera and looking you in the eye if it wasn't real. And that's why I wanted to do this as a psychic medium, to prove to you that it is real. And even though y'all may not be able to see it, see what I saw, because I did see a lot. I saw a shadow man in front of the chapel. He was dressed in a cowboy hat, which I later saw him as a cowboy, like a cowboy in my photographs. He was there. On the second floor, there was a lot of demons clinging from the walls, from the ceilings. They looked like little gremlins, almost like, how do I describe it? Kind of like a very 4 foot, 3 foot, scrawny little thing. People think that demons are like 6, 7 foot tall. Now they can't appear to be like that. But what I saw was like several of like these scrawny little beings hanging on the walls, on the roofs, and then they were all coming towards me. And I just kept putting like a wall of light around me. And then you hear my breathing, and then I felt like I was going to pass out. I got very lightheaded, and that was my cue. I turned off the footage. Spirit said to me, I could hear them talk to me, trying to calm me down. I was like huffing and puffing, going through an anxiety attack, which felt very much like a heart attack was about to come through. So I turned off the video footage, and you see it just go black. And then I walked down, I turned my back, and I kept walking, saying prayers in my mind, holding myself to the rails, and then going back down. And that was it for me. I did take my mom. She is a medium, but she doesn't like to get in the camera and do any of this. And she was there, but she didn't want to go. I didn't want to put her in that danger, of her doing that. So I wasn't necessarily alone, but she was not going to go, upstairs or even down the halls. She has some problems with her legs. So she waited with Ed there. And so that's the voices that a lot of you heard in the very beginning of the footage. She is very powerful though. And I do feel like they maybe feared her a little bit. I don't know, but she decided to go to the chapel with me, just to go ahead and walk into the chapel, and I told her no. So she went with Ed, and I followed myself. And as soon as I got in front of the chapel, I felt sick again. Her and Ed didn't really feel anything. They weren't affected, but I definitely was affected, and I feel like I'm definitely more open, and maybe because my mom's older, I don't know, she's maybe stronger than I am, and I have no shame in saying that. But I did not want to subject her to what I experienced, or even going that far. After I was done with the investigation and I came and I told my mom what had happened and Eddie, I was pale. I was physically exhausted. It took me a while for my heart rate to go down. Um, and I then used holy water and made a cross on myself again. I said a prayer, and in the lobby area, I felt relief. I felt better. Um, I felt so much calmer. And then I left. So, total duration, I think, of this investigation was maybe about 25 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. And then I went to eat at a local diner. Our chauffeur Michael took us to a local diner that he had gone before to get food, and I sat down, and the girl knew that I was a medium, and Michael had told her where I was going, what I had done, and she wanted to talk to me, and so that's the girl Jessica that I interviewed, and she was actually a former employee that did tours there in the hospital, and so yeah, she let me know like all of her experiences as well, and just I don't recommend that place for anyone, really. I really feel like investigations shouldn't be done at any point. I do foresee that eventually either the local natives or the owners are going to be haunted more than what they are now. Whoever's like caretaking, they will be haunted. And eventually, what I see is that um, they want, like, spirit wants it just vacant, and it's not going to happen. I feel like the owners don't want to because of the tours and because it is a historical part of history. But eventually, what I see it is being demolished, and that's what I see. And I may be wrong. I'm not always right on certain things, but I see it. Hi, Evelyn. Being demolished sooner or later. Okay, so how did beings not attach themselves to her? I don't know. I feel like because she is a very strong individual, and also that she was not inside the actual, like, she didn't go in very far in. I don't know. Ed wasn't affected. She was not affected. I was the only one affected, like really, really affected very bad. But people have gone there to provocate, and they've opened up doorways, and I couldn't go to the basement. The murders were done. There was actually people murdered in the basement. I was not able to go down to the basement because it is flooded. It was flooded, and so I couldn't go down in there. But I had seen other footage of other people that had gone to the basement, and it was, I could feel all the energy down in the basement from the top floor through my feet. I know that sounds very weird. I could feel all the energy on top of me going through the halls and everything on the second floor. It was very bad. So after I got home, I did have two entities that did latch on to me. They did attach themselves to me. And I knew this because I was still feeling very heavy on my chest, feeling very sick. And so I asked my friend Pamela Williams, who's a psychic. She does readings as well. And she saw me. She said, you do have two attachments. She said, you need to recite Psalm 23. You need to spray yourself with holy water again. You need to cleanse yourself with sage, frankincense and myrrh, and burn those on a charcoal tablet. So I burned that and let the smoke go all through me and all through my mom. I cleansed my mom too, and then the entire home, basically room to room, cleansing everything, and then opening the doors for about 2 to 3 minutes to let whatever was in there go out. And then I shut it. I then proceeded to take a shower with a bar of soap that is made of sage and white tea. And so I bathed with that while also reciting Psalm 23 in its entirety. And that's those through walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. That's Psalms 23. So then after that, I felt fine. I took a picture of myself and I sent it to my friend Pam. She didn't feel anything negative around me. And okay, this is where it gets very weird. So late that night, and I'm not ashamed to say this, I was super afraid to go to sleep in my room. I turn on the light for about an hour on the ceiling light to have it because it's a very bright white light, and I slept on that with that on my bed with a crystal that had been blessed by a very holy person, and I slept with that on my hand, and I did not let go of it. And yeah, I cannot believe I'm really saying this, but it's the truth, and I'm not going to be ashamed of it. A 37-year-old man was really scared to go to sleep. And I've been doing this kind of work for a while, like reading people, and I've seen demons and entities, but nothing prepares you for what you see and what you feel in that place. It is like, I could say, like the devil's den. It's like I would not survive a night there. I can tell you, I would not survive a night because they do overnight investigations, and they have something coming up through October, like overnight investigations. They're opening up for people to come in to that place, but I would not do it. And I feel sorry for a lot of people that are going in there because a part of them is left there forever. I feel like when I say forever and a part of them is left there, is your psychic energy, your energy is always imprinted. So the reason I'm saying this is because later that night, I had a demonic entity trying to make contact with me through my mind. I am also a clairaudient, so I can hear spirit and I can hear the darker side. But I never really hear the darker side. I never had too much of that ever in my life at all. And I heard something very like it was muffled, like a male's voice, a very muffled, very demonic, trying to make like contact with me through my clairaudience. And I immediately was like, no. I prayed to my Archangel Michael. I called upon warrior angels. I said St. Michael prayer, the Lord's Prayer. I said Hail Mary, and it stopped. Thank God it stopped. So throughout today, I've been fine. Everything's been great. But yeah, something definitely wanted to make contact. That's why I say it's dangerous doing these paranormal investigations, even if you go with people. Because what people don't realize is that when you go into a very demonic or infestated, a big infestation like that of spirits, negative and trapped souls that are there, you are leaving a piece of your energy there. And so that's how demons make contact, even if you leave. And as I was leaving the hospital, I did say, I do not give any of these souls permissions to follow me. You are not allowed to follow me. And I made it very clear, and I was very stern, and I said it out loud. But that didn't really help because two did follow me, and and today I've been fine. But I was scared. I really was scared, and I'm not sitting here going to pretend to be the brave person because deep down in me, in my soul, it was a very horrific type of thing to experience by yourself. Going through those halls. Would I do it again? No, I would not. And I'll never do it again. Any place that's haunted, even if it wasn't demonic and it was just spirits there. The place that I went to, this hospital, has humans that died on the surgery table. They died from gunshot wounds. There's people, later on, it was turned into a drug rehab facility. And so it was that for a while. And there's people that used to work there that have died and now come back to that place drawn because, again, of what's brooding there. I got from spirit is that even when it was a hospital in operation, that there was a lot of demonic activity already there. Whatever is there is also rooted in the ground. And so a lot of people were asking me, well, what's going to happen if this place is knocked down? Eventually, if this place is demolished, what's going to happen is that the trapped souls that are human souls or that were once human are going to be released. They're going to be able to go and get away from the demonic entities that have them captured there. The ones that are demonic activity, demons or demonic or negative energies are going to stay there always on the land, because there is a vortex now on the ground underneath the actual foundation. It is a gateway to hell. I'll just tell you that. It is a gateway to hell. So, yeah, that place, it is bad, bad, bad. It is a gateway to hell. And people may beg to differ, or maybe they didn't have the experiences that I had or saw what I saw. But like I said, I saw those little beings all over, and then I saw faces of men and women all around, like walls, and I also saw something that I had seen before at one time in my life, which is like a cloud of shadows, like a how do I describe it? Almost like fog, but darker than night. And it was on both sides of the halls, and it would go towards like levitating, like all the way through. So darkness encompasses the entire area. It is saturated, and they smell you out, and they know your deepest fear. My deepest fear was getting sick going in there with my heart, and they knew that. They knew that because when I got into the second floor, that's when it really started attacking me, and I felt this pushback. They did not. Why did you go there? I really don't know. Something was pulling me there, whether it was something not good or it was something good. I really feel like I needed to go there to investigate, to push the limits a little bit. And also, I think, honestly, like this was in the divine plan, so that I was to be able to provide y'all footage of this. Because a lot of people are skeptics when they come into these haunting videos. They think that they've been edited, or that, people make up things, or these paranormal investigators are exaggerating and screaming because, they are just wanting views and things like that. But I'm here to tell you that it's not made up. It's not exaggeration. I can see why they would get like that, especially at nighttime. Yeah, I would never do that again. Never. Never. But I do foresee like someone eventually is going to get pushed down the balcony, over the balcony, if they're not careful. Whoever goes there after this and starts investigating, they need to be careful in the balcony area, because it's on the second floor, because they will end up being pushed. And I know that when Zach was there, Zach Bagans, him and his team, he was over the balcony, I believe, on the right side of the balcony. But that place is like really, really just horrible. So I continue to do prayers. Sometimes people will have for, several weeks after have paranormal experiences. I don't feel anything around me. I feel better today. I do feel drained still. I'm not like super drained or super tired. I just feel sore. My legs felt like very sore. My body felt kind of like a lot of like soreness, like I had been beaten up basically. And that's what it does to people. Like it sucks your life force and energy out. And so you can definitely start having a lot of physical symptoms and issues if you're not careful. That's why I knew what my limit was. I knew that once I was going to get sick and maybe start hyperventilating or going into a full-blown panic attack, which I did, it was time to get my butt out of there, like super fast. And so I did. But I really feel like I handled it pretty well. I mean, you can't really tell that much on the footage until I posted a photo of myself standing in front of the hall. A lot of people noticed that I was very drained. But yeah, this place, if y'all have questions, go ahead and ask. I'm going to go through now and kind of, if y'all have questions about anything that I haven't covered, I want to read what y'all said here. Let me know if y'all been to haunted locations. And from what you said, that place sounds more haunted than what I've seen. Yeah, Sweet Pea, it is super haunted. Monica Borales, we are close. Yeah, Houston. I'm in Victoria, so yes. Um, Hi Ray, I love your work. Thank you so much. I love y'all, and thank you Ryan for doing this. Watching Dead Falls now. Yeah, I was watching that earlier as well. It's one of my favorite shows. Ghost hunters always used to come to my hometown to investigate the Hudson Valley Psychiatric. Yeah, I will never go again to psychiatric hospitals or any hospital, because hospitals are really like places where of death and saturated in death. And in any hospital, you're going to have demonic activity, because a lot of, depending on what type of person dies and the event that they died in, how evil they were in life, sometimes demons come to collect them. So yeah, you would definitely, I will never go to like a psychiatric asylum or any hospital. People don't really realize that. Yeah, for those of you that were tuning into the footage, did y'all feel what I felt? Like, did y'all start having physical symptoms? Because a lot of people said so far that they have, and I believe it. If you're a sensitive or an empath, you're definitely going to feel the effects. Yeah, Vedic Astrology Babe said, hey, Ray, I watched a few minutes of the video, had to turn it off. Energy was too much for me. Glad you're okay and highly protected. Yeah, I really was protected, but even though through all that protection, I was still vulnerable and I was still attacked. And I'm lucky that I'm here today to even talk about it, because I honestly felt like I was going to pass out or have a heart attack. That's how bad that energy was on the second. And it's not worth it at the end of the day to even like to get footage. I'm here to tell you it's not worth, putting your health at risk. If you have pre-existing medical conditions or anything that, like this, if you're a super sensitive or an empath, this is not for you. It's not for the faint-hearted. I feel like people that would go there would do better if they were disconnected from spirit or not as open. Possibly they would be the ones that not so attacked, and then they may. The thing is that people that go in, especially women with tattoos, they are really attacked and violated by these dark entities that are there. I'm okay. Dat Watson says, I'm 2 hours from Yorktown. My friends went there for Halloween, and one of them died from suicide a month later from depression. Yeah, it is. Especially if they went overnight, and they didn't sage or protect themselves. I can see, and I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry for that. That's horrible. I can see why that would have happened. Like I said, these entities can cause a lot of issues. So I'm really, praying to the highest power and really cleansing myself and staying protected and not fearful. I'm not afraid now that I'm not there. It's over with, but definitely a part of my energy was left there. And that's for any investigator that goes there, any person that steps foot on those grounds. So they definitely, okay, like this place, I feel like the only way it would be even manageable, like there would have to be like different religious groups going in, like priests, powerful psychic mediums, demonologists, to do various exorcisms and cleanse this place. But even though all of that would be done, it still would be full and with infestation of spirits. I don't feel like anything would really help it or remedy it. It would be like putting a band-aid on it. And even though activity in that certain area would go, silent, they would continue to have experiences, because these things are ancient. Demons are ancient, and they were there in plethora. Like, it was a lot. The Leslie Michelle says, I knew portals were open. Is there a way to close them? Depending on how it was open, there's different ways to close them. Calling upon angels to help you close them. Doing certain rituals that fall more into magic to close them. But for the most part, like, they can be closed with like cleansing, saging, blessing the place, exercising it. Those are the only ways to actually close it. In this case, with as much activity is that is there, I don't feel like it can be closed at all. I was saying it with you as you were saying it as soon as you began for more protection. Leah Benavides, yeah, thank you so much for saying the prayer. I was going to say it, you could provoke the spirit. Yeah. Ebony says the spirit with you now. Yeah, I have, spirit, my spirit guides with me. I don't feel anything negative around me or with me, thank God, and I'm really grateful for that. Ray, what is happening with the world? Why does it seem chaotic nowadays? It's the whole vibration, the whole fifth dimension, people still living in the third dimension of consciousness. It's a state of consciousness. A lot of people are spiritually asleep. They're not awakened. And so those are people that are like kind of resisting and have been so socially programmed that they'll never change. And sometimes they will change, but in time. Okay, Emma Cox says, one of the rooms you went in, maybe in the chapel, I felt so weird watching it. Like, I put my hand over my mouth as if it was really upset. I wanted to scream, cry, and like I'd seen something bad happening. Yeah, that place, the chapel, that area, it was very horrible. Rhonda Palmer, wow, I want to watch the video, but I'm scared now. Like I said, viewer discretion is advised. I don't advise any sensitives to really watch that video. And I even say that in the very beginning of this video. And I published it yesterday. It's called Yorktown Memorial Hospital Haunted. Angela Blue said that looked like fresh blood, though. It was. It definitely was. You could tell, like, it wasn't dried. Like I said, people are dumb. They're stupid, foolish. They go into this place provoking spirits. I didn't do that. I didn't ask them, can you communicate with me? I didn't, go and play an EVP recorder, or, I just went when my camera was talking, like, to you guys through my camera. And then, of course, I said my prayer, which probably provoked them at the end of my investigation, but I didn't go in with that mentality to do bad or to kind of like make contact with them. I didn't want to, which is kind of like, I feel like saved me, from all of that. So I'm just reading here. Denise Williams, I'm sorry I missed this from beginning. It sounds like you had a scary time. Yeah, it was very scary. Lovely Cassandra, Chrissy Gomes, I went to a psychic worker and she read me and saw everything and told me that what I needed to cleanse and protection. A few weeks felt to go away. I'm okay now. Yeah, that's what I did. I used frankincense. I used myrrh. It's a very powerful blend, and it was blessed in the church that I went to, the convent, and then the holy water and those two, and then the sage soap. And then I wear a crucifix 24/7 since I was a child. I never take it off. It's pinned to the inside of my shirt, and I never talk about it. And it has a Saint Benedictine medal on it. I have worn that since I was a child, since I was like 6 years old, and I've never stopped wearing it. It goes pinned on my shirt at night, and I wear it all the time. And I've also, like I said, I'm very powerful. I feel like I am powerful when it comes to prayers, and my faith in the spirit realm with angels and my spirit guides. They work with the light. So I did have protection, but it's still not good. Mr. Shoddy Red said, why did they felt comfortable with the waitress you interviewed? Some people are not as open, like I said. Some people have bad experiences. Some people don't. And a lot of times they don't want to talk about the bad things that did happen to them. Let me see here. Yeah, they are getting paid for these tours, and that's the thing that I'm worried about. The people that are doing these tours or opening the facilities, like those things that are in there know, and they know their energy, and I feel like they would be prone to like having visits, spiritual visitations, being attacked, things be following them. Another thing that I will say in this whole life, never take anything from a haunted location. Never. I don't care how enticing it would be, or it would be like, a thrill to have it as a collectible. Never take anything from any haunted location. Like, just don't do it. Because a lot of the things that are in there, some people have brought and placed it there. A lot of that stuff is not originally from the hospital. But even if it's been there, it's been like tainted. And those objects can be haunted and they can come back to you. Like, spirits can follow you. That's how these dark entities, they can actually jump into the object, haunt it, and attach themselves to it and follow you. Just drink some peach tea here. I have my tea with spirit. Also had my blessed Native American pendant. Cuff bracelet. It's made by Native Americans, and it was blessed. Cleansing won't help that place. Trust me. Even if they did cleansing every day, all through the day and night, it would not help it. So what do you think about Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures? I get a bad vibe. I don't get anything necessarily like, I don't want to talk bad about him at all. I will say that he's not the same person that he used to be. You can see the changes in his eyes and his soul. He's totally different. He is susceptible to entities, and the fact that he has a demon tattooed on the back of his neck is very concerning to me. Even though I understand the reason that he has it, that is very disturbing and concerning to me. But again, I mean, to each its own. There's a reason why he got that. But he's not the same person. And I can guarantee that he's had a lot of things happen to him that he probably won't discuss ever. And he will never, some things are just going to be kept to himself, that, experiences that he's had or visitations. Because I do feel like, even if I'm not mistaken, he had like a haunted museum that he opened or he bought property from. Whatever that situation is, he has things following him that know him and that are familiar to him and that probably will never leave his side. So, yeah, I'm not the type of person to do paranormal investigations like this, and I probably never will do it again. Maybe haunted homes, yes, but demonic cases, I'd rather let a demonologist or someone else go in and do it. That's not for me. Demar, if you watched his unedited video, I already picked up bad smells like rotten meat. Yeah. Absolutely spot on. Katharina Raymond says, I couldn't, man. Yeah. Let me see. What is your feeling about doing a remote healing or ghost bustings? Yeah, I would be open to healing. But as far as removal of entities and things like that, no. I don't. I always tell people that they need to find a demonologist. Excuse me, I'm burping here. But if there are demonic cases, I never take those. And I know when someone is possessed or has a demonic attachment. And one of the things is like their eyes, how I see them in the photograph that's sent to me. I don't see their natural eye color. I see black eyes, very dark eyes, and a very dark aura. And that's how I know that they have something very bad on them. And so I refer them to a demonologist, to find one. I don't know any demonologists really, but they would need to find that, or I tell them they need to go to a priest or someone of their religion or faith and have an exorcism or get rebaptized. Sometimes that will help, but I don't handle demonic cases, and I don't want to. Let me see here. Yeah, Zach Bagans has actually had an exorcism, several of them, but I would not, like, he's not the same person. Do y'all agree? I mean, do y'all see it, that he's not the same? Like, you can tell that he is scared. Or, hi, Nicole. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. I got some. Oh, one of the things I didn't tell y'all, I need to tell y'all this because I typed it out in my YouTube video and pinned it in the comments. But when I went to the right wing the temperature changed completely. It did get cooler in that area, like maybe 65, and the temperature dropped. Being that it was 100 degrees outside, that right wing that y'all saw, like blood in those rooms where there was blood on the first floor, that area where the paintings were, all that area was cooler going down to the very end, which I think were like a trauma ER or trauma rooms. I don't know. But yeah, the temperature changed completely. And when temperatures change, sometimes it's a negative entity or a lot of spiritual activity. So, yeah. What about the dirt and dust you collect on your shoes and clothes from going to the haunted places? That's a very good question, Yini Yin. I was told by my friend Pamela and even my spirit guides to wash the bottom of my shoes with soap and water and then sprinkle holy water on the bottom of those shoes, and also to wash my clothing immediately. So that's been done. And also I put holy water in the laundry, believe it or not. But yeah, anything that you have wearing, my jewelry, I rinsed all my crystals, my necklaces, my glasses, they were all rinsed in water. And I put holy water over them as well to bless them. That's a very, very good question or topic. Because everything that you wear has that energy still attached to it. Okay, hello Raymond, this is from Black Onyx 114. Hello Raymond, I took my sisters to Penhurst Asylum, oh my god, just so we could spread positive light and help some cross over. I had a deep feeling this was needed. Do you think some are meant to help clear? I feel like that's possibly like why I was drawn to this place, being that I have a lot of light in me, not to sound cocky or, just bragging about myself or being full of ego. I do feel like I have a lot of light in me. And so maybe in some way I was sent there, by a higher power to really bring some kind of healing, or peaceful energy to those souls, maybe, that they could escape. In some cases, what I tried to envision while I was there, was light, so that souls that wanted to cross over could. But I immediately stopped that because of how I was feeling, and I didn't want to open myself too much to that side of the paranormal, of spirit realm, while being there, because again, it could have been a whole bunch worse for me. The Desley Michelle says, Lovely Cassandra says, I don't hear whispers. Are you sure you're not hearing these? Yes, Ray, when I look at someone's eyes and they're dark, I don't mess with them. Yeah. No, what you're hearing in the background is actually a TV. It's not too far. It's kind of low the volume, but you'll hear some of the TV. That's what a lot of you are hearing sometimes when I do these videos, and I apologize for the background noise. That's the whispering that you hear. It's kind of far away, but you can still hear it. Deborah Jenkins, a woman killed herself there. That is horrible. So, let's see here. So did y'all feel, those of you that did see the video, did y'all feel that energy in the actual video? Did y'all feel anything from that video footage that I took? Yeah. Hi, Torrent. Had a lot of people praying for me. I would, if you would like to pray for me, please do so. Any prayers on my behalf would be really appreciated. Not that I'm afraid, but I think we all could use prayers, especially if you go into a paranormal investigation like this by yourself. Yeah, Yini Yin, the video was very scary. When I go back, I cringe and I can't see it. I don't want to see it because it's like revisiting that place. It's terrifying. Can portals, vortexes be formed before a building like that? Yes, it could be in the land. Like a lot of Native Americans who have lands that, have been roamed, or like the Civil War lands where properties where Civil War took place or the soldiers died on that land and were buried. those can open vortexes and portals. I felt this heaviness feeling on my throat and chest. Yeah, Aggie McLeod. Yeah, that's what I felt all through the entire investigation, was like heaviness in my chest area and just like could not breathe. You cannot breathe. Like it was so horrible. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I really enjoyed this hour. I'm sorry I didn't read. I need to preserve my energy, but please keep me in your prayers and your thoughts. Surround me with light. I'm going to continue to do that. I would do that for y'all that are listening. You know, if any of that would ever happen to you, where you go into a place like this, it was very foolish of me, like I said, in going by myself to do that, which I shouldn't have done it. And so I really, really apologize to, you know, any of the spirits there that, you know, were maybe disturbed by my presence or didn't like it. But I'll never do that ever again. And I really feel like I'm going to be okay. I pray that I'm going to be okay. Always in the back of your mind, not because someone said that in the comments, that one of their best friends or someone had visited and then committed suicide a month later. But you know, you always have that fear, like when you are there in a very haunted location, that something bad could happen. So just keep me in your prayers. I can use all of your prayers and all of your light. I love y'all unconditionally. We'll have some new videos coming out this week. And for those of you that ordered my Starseed Footstep Oracle cards, I finally shipped them all out today. So a lot of you will be receiving it. If you live internationally, like in Canada, Australia, some of you may be receiving it after the 9th. It does take a little bit longer to get to you, but you will get it. And Ray, open the Bible and put a glass of water next to the Bible and keep it next to you. Thank you, Butterfly Free. Yes. No, I still have a Bible, believe it or not. Even though I'm not religious, I still carry a Holy Bible because of the fact that it is protection. Even though I don't agree with all of the scripture, you know, and things that are said in there, but I always keep religious artifacts or objects, such as like the Holy Bible, crucifixes, as you could see. And I have saged all my entire house. I have other protections around. So I love you so, so much. And thank you for being here tonight. And many blessings to each and every one of you. Good night.